The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched for miles. Beings from 1,000 worlds sat in floating chairs that hummed softly in the air. At the center of it all, Elder Voss stood with his ancient walking stick. His skin looked like old leather and his eyes held memories of 10,000 years. "You must not go to that world," Elder Voss said. His voice was quiet, but everyone could hear him clearly. "The blue planet in the outer rim, the one you call Earth." Admiral Thane laughed from his high seat. He was young for a fleet commander, only 200 years old. His uniform was covered in medals from conquered worlds. "Old One, we appreciate your concerns, but the Empire needs those trade routes. That system sits right in the middle of valuable space lanes." "You do not understand," Elder Voss said. He tapped his walking stick on the floor 3 times. The sound echoed through the hall. "My people put warnings around that world long ago. There are creatures there, dangerous creatures." Counselor Rex leaned forward in his chair. He was fat and rich, and he wanted to get richer. "What kind of creatures?" "We have seen their transmissions. They fight with metal tubes that shoot small pieces of metal. They ride in vehicles with wheels. They are barely out of their caves." Elder Voss closed his old eyes. "That is what makes them so dangerous. They look weak, they look simple, but they are not." The hall filled with whispers and laughter. Admiral Thane stood up tall. "Elder Voss, with respect, your people ruled the galaxy when we were all learning to walk. But times change. We have ships that can destroy planets. We have weapons that can kill 1,000,000 beings in one shot. What could these humans possibly do to us?" "Everything," Elder Voss whispered. The Admiral waved his hand. "Show us these dangerous humans." A large screen appeared in the air above them. It showed images from Earth. Humans walked in cities made of glass and metal. They drove cars on long roads. They flew in metal birds through the sky. "Look at them," Counselor Rex said. "They cannot even leave their own world properly. They send tiny ships to their moon. It takes them days to get there. We can travel between stars in hours." On the screen, a human woman in a white coat was looking at strange samples under a microscope. The text below said, "Dr. Hana Kim, Xenobiology Research Center, Seoul." "See how they study things?" Admiral Thane pointed. "They are curious. That is good. Curious species make good slaves." The screen changed. It showed a military base. Humans in green uniforms were training. They ran and jumped and shot their simple weapons. One of them, a man with serious eyes, was giving orders to the others. The text said, "Commander Day Park, Earth Defense Force." "Look at their military," the Admiral said. "They march in lines. They follow orders. They will surrender the moment they see our ships." Elder Voss shook his head slowly. "You see what they want you to see, but there is more, much more." The screen showed another scene. A woman was sitting in what looked like a flying machine. She was smiling as she performed impossible tricks in the air. The machine spun and twisted in ways that should have killed her, but she kept smiling. The text said, "Captain Bom Lee, Test, Pilot." "They play games with death," Elder Voss said quietly. "They smile when they should be afraid." "So what?" Counselor Rex said. "Brave soldiers are still just soldiers. Our weapons will turn them to dust before they can blink." Elder Voss looked around the hall. He saw greed in their eyes. He saw pride and anger and the need to conquer. He had seen it all before, long ago. "There is something you must know," he said. "The blue world. It is not their home world." The hall went quiet. "What do you mean?" Admiral Thane asked. "Long ago, before any of you were born, before your species learned to think, there was another empire. Greater than yours. Stronger than yours. And there was a war." Elder Voss walked to the center of the hall. His old bones creaked with each step. The enemy in that war was terrible. They did not just fight to win. They fought to become better at fighting. Every battle made them smarter. Every defeat taught them something new. They turned every weapon used against them into something worse. "What happened to them?" Someone called out. "They were not destroyed. They could not be destroyed, so they were moved, put on a world far away, a world with no way to leave, a world designed to contain them. Admiral Thane's smile was gone now. You are saying the humans are those warriors? Not the same ones, their children, their children's children. Thousands of generations later. We hoped time would make them soft. We hoped isolation would make them weak. Elder Voss pointed at the screen. It now showed human cities at night. Millions of lights twinkled like stars. Does that look weak to you? It does not matter, Admiral Thane said, but his voice was not as strong as before. Even if your story is true, they have been alone for so long. They have forgotten how to fight real wars. They fight each other with simple weapons over small pieces of land. Yes, Elder Voss said sadly. They fight each other. Do you know why? No one answered. Because they have no one else to fight. Because they are bored. Because war is in their blood and they cannot stop. The screen changed again. It showed human soldiers in different uniforms. Some in green, some in brown, some in blue. They were fighting each other with great skill and terrible creativity. Look how they fight their own kind, Elder Voss said. Look how they never give up. Look how they always find a way. Counselor Rex stood up. Enough of this fear talk. The decision is made. The Empire needs those trade routes. We will send a contact fleet. We will offer them the chance to join the Empire peacefully. If they refuse, we will take their world by force. The vote was called. Most of the council raised their hands to agree. Only a few voted. Numbered. Elder Voss watched the vote with sad eyes. When it was finished, he spoke one more time. When you go to their world, do not say I did not warn you. Do not say the Keepers did not try to stop this. And when they show you what they really are, remember that you chose not to listen. He walked away slowly, his walking stick tapping on the floor. The sound echoed through the hall long after he was gone. Admiral Thane turned to his officers. Prepare the first contact fleet. We leave for Earth in 7 days. In the viewing gallery above, Elder Voss watched them plan their doom. He had tried to warn them, but greed and pride were stronger than wisdom. The galaxy would learn the truth about humans soon enough, and it would regret not listening. The Empire fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system like dark thunder clouds. 200 ships hung in space, each one larger than anything humans had ever built. The smallest ship was bigger than a city. The largest was bigger than a country. Admiral Thane stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion. Through the great windows, he could see the small blue world spinning slowly in the distance. It looked peaceful. It looked harmless. Send the standard message, he ordered. The communication officer pressed some buttons. A message went out toward Earth in every language the Empire had on file. People of Earth. We are the Galactic Empire. Your world is now part of our territory. You will surrender your weapons and accept our rule. You have 24 hours to respond, resist, and your world will be destroyed. The message was broadcast again and again. The Admiral settled back in his chair and waited. This was always the boring part. Most species surrendered right away when they saw the fleet. A few tried to negotiate. None had ever chosen to fight. On Earth, the message was received by every radio, every television, every phone. In Seoul, Commander Day Park read the message and called his officers together. Well, he said, looking at the paper, they want us to surrender. Sir, have you seen the size of their ships? Lieutenant Go asked. He was young and worried. Our biggest rockets would bounce off them like stones. Commander Day nodded. Yes, I can see their ships. Very impressive. Dr. Hana, what do you think? Doctor? Hana Kim looked up from her computer. She had been studying the alien transmission, trying to understand their technology. Their ships are advanced but not impossible. They use energy patterns we have never seen before, but energy is energy. It follows rules. And their weapons? Commander Day asked. Powerful, but they expect us to be afraid. They expect us to give up. Commander Day smiled. It was not a nice smile. Captain Baum, how many pilots do we have ready? Captain Baum Lee was cleaning her fingernails with a knife. She looked up with bright eyes. All of them, sir. Every single pilot on Earth wants to fly against those ships, even though they will probably die. Especially because they will probably die, sir. 23 hours passed. The Empire fleet waited. Admiral Thane grew impatient. Have they responded yet? He asked. No, sir, nothing. Are they preparing to surrender? The scanning officer checked his instruments. Sir, they appear to be launching small craft. Hundreds of them. Admiral Thane looked at the scanners. Tiny dots were rising from Earth's surface. They were so small the computers had trouble tracking them. What are those? Transport ships carrying diplomats? Unknown, sir. They are very small, very fast. A new transmission came from Earth. This time it was directed straight at the Dominion. The face of Commander Day appeared on the main screen. He was sitting at a simple desk in what looked like a bunker. Greetings, Admiral Thane. I am Commander Day Park of the Earth Defense Force. We have reviewed your offer to surrender. Admiral Thane leaned forward. Good. I am glad your people are reasonable. Commander Day smiled. We have decided to decline your offer. We choose option 3. Option 3? What option 3? I only gave you 2 choices, surrender or die. The third option, Commander Day said, still smiling. The one where you leave our system and never come back. Admiral Thane laughed. You cannot be serious. Look at my fleet. Look at your tiny world. You have no chance. You are probably right, Commander Day said. But we are going to try anyway. The transmission ended. Admiral Thane shook his head. Destroy their communication satellites. Show them we are serious. The Dominion fired a single beam of energy. 3 human satellites exploded into pretty sparkles of light. That was when the first human ship hit them. It came from nowhere, moving faster than anything should move. It was tiny, barely big enough for one person. But it was not trying to fight the Dominion. It was trying to ram it. Shields, Admiral Thane shouted. The human ship hit the shields and exploded in a ball of nuclear fire. The Dominion shook like a leaf in a storm. Sir, that was a nuclear weapon. They strapped a nuclear bomb to a small ship and flew it directly at us. Impossible, no one is that crazy. Sir, incoming. Hundreds of them. The scanner lit up like a Christmas tree. Tiny ships were coming from every direction. Each one was accelerating toward the Empire fleet. Each one carried a nuclear weapon. All ships, defensive fire, stop them. The Empire ships began shooting. Their energy beams cut through space like purple lightning. They hit human ship after human ship. The tiny craft exploded in brilliant flashes, but more kept coming. Captain Bom Lee flew her fighter straight at a ship called the Destroyer. Her radio crackled with voices from other pilots. This is Sky 3 going in. Thunder 7 target locked. Dragon 2 see you all in hell. One by one the human fighters died, but not before they reached their targets. The first Empire ship to fall was a cruiser named Blade of Victory. 3 human fighters hit it at the same time. The nuclear explosions cracked its hull like an egg. Atmosphere vented into space. The ship began to spin out of control. Sir, the communication officer shouted. The humans are not trying to destroy our ships. They are trying to cripple them. Admiral Thane looked at the scanner. The human fighters were not hitting randomly. They were hitting engines, weapon systems, and communication arrays. They were trying to capture Empire ships, not destroy them. How do they know where to hit us? Unknown, sir. Captain Bom Lee's fighter spun and twisted between the purple energy beams. She had studied the Empire ships for the past 24 hours. Every line, every surface, every detail. She knew where their weak points were. Her ship was hit by enemy fire. The left wing exploded. She kept flying on the remaining engine. Sky 3 to all fighters, she said into her radio. The big guns are on the bottom. Hit them from above. Her damaged fighter slammed into the weapon array of an Empire destroyer. The nuclear explosion lit up space like a small sun. Admiral Thane watched in horror as his fleet began to fall apart. These humans were not just brave, they were smart. They were learning how to fight his ships while they were fighting them. Sir, should we retreat? Retreat? From primitives with chemical rockets? But even as he said it, Admiral Thane knew something was wrong. These were not normal primitives. Normal primitives begged for mercy. Normal primitives tried to hide. These humans were flying suicide missions with smiles on their faces. "Sir, incoming transmission from Earth." Commander Day appeared on the screen again. Behind him, explosions lit up the sky. "Admiral Thane, I see. You are having some trouble with our pilots. This is madness. Your people are dying." "Yes," Commander Day said calmly. "But your people are dying too. And we have more people than you have ships. You cannot win this way. Even if you destroy half my fleet, I will still have enough ships to turn your planet into glass." "Commander." D nodded. "You are probably right. But while you are burning our world, our people will be learning how your technology works. The ones who survive will build better ships. They will find you, and they will remember what you did here." Admiral Thane felt a chill run down his spine. "You are threatening me?" "No, Admiral. I am explaining to you what humans do. We remember. We learn. We adapt. We never, ever give up." The transmission ended just as another Empire ship began to list to one side, its engines dead. Admiral Thane looked at the tactical display. He had lost 30 ships. The humans had lost all of their fighters, but somehow he felt like he was losing. "Sir, what are your orders?" Admiral Thane stared at the blue world spinning below them. He thought about Elder Voss and his warnings. He thought about ancient warriors and forgotten wars. "Prepare for orbital bombardment," he said quietly. "We end this now." The purple beams from the Empire ships hit Earth like the anger of gods. Cities burned, mountains melted. The oceans boiled and sent steam into the sky. Admiral Thane watched from his flagship as the planet below was turned into hell. "This is what happens when species refuse to surrender," he said to his officers. "Remember this lesson." But the lesson was not over. 3 days after the bombardment began, strange signals started coming from Earth. Not distress calls or pleas for mercy, technical data, weapon specifications, shield frequencies. "Sir," the communication officer said, his voice shaking, "the humans are broadcasting our own technology back to us." "What do you mean?" "They have somehow figured out how our shields work, how our engines work, how our weapons work. They are sending the information to every corner of their planet." Admiral Thane grabbed the communication device. "This is impossible. It takes years to understand alien technology. Decades." Dr. Hana Kim's voice crackled through the speakers. She was transmitting from somewhere underground. "Hello, Admiral Thane. This is Dr. Hana Kim, Seoul National University. I wanted to thank you for the wonderful examples of advanced technology you have provided. How are you still alive? Humans are very good at hiding, Admiral. We have been practicing for thousands of years. We hide from each other during wars. We hide from natural disasters. We hide from anything that wants to kill us. It is one of our best skills." Admiral Thane heard explosions in the background of her transmission. "Your world is dying, Doctor." "Parts of it, yes. But not all of it. And the parts that survive are learning from the parts that died. Every one of your weapons teaches us something new." The transmission ended. That night, the first human ships launched from the burning planet. They were not built in factories. They were built in caves, in subway tunnels, in the basements of ruined buildings. But they flew, and they worked. Engineer Wan Nam had been trapped in a collapsed laboratory when the bombardment started. Instead of trying to escape, he had spent 3 days studying the pieces of Empire technology that had fallen from the destroyed alien ships. "Look at this," he said to his assistant, who was also trapped with him. "Their power systems are not that different from ours, just bigger, much bigger." His assistant looked at the alien components spread across the table. "Can we make it work?" "Better than work," Juan said with a tired smile. "I can make it work. Better." The first human ship to leave Earth after the bombardment was barely 10 meters long. It was built from car parts, computer chips, and pieces of a destroyed Empire fighter. It should not have been able to fly, but it did fly. And it was fast. Faster than it should have been. Captain Bom Lee was not supposed to be alive. Her fighter had been destroyed 3 days ago. But somehow she had survived. Her body was burned and broken, but her mind was clear. "This is Dragon 2, she said into her radio as her impossible ship accelerated toward the Empire fleet. "I am still here, Admiral." Admiral Thane watched in shock as the crude human vessel dodged his weapons and flew straight at one of his destroyers. But this time, the human ship did not explode when it hit. Instead, it attached itself to the destroyer's hull like a parasite. "Sir, the human ship is cutting through our armor." "With what?" "They have no tools that can cut through our metal." "They appear to be using our own cutting tools, sir. Somehow they have learned to make them." More human ships launched from Earth. Each one was different. Each one was built from whatever materials the humans could find. But all of them worked. Colonel B. Sue led a group of human soldiers who had been hiding in the mountains when the bombardment started. They had found the wreckage of an Empire transport ship and spent 2 days taking it apart. "We cannot build their ships," he told his men. "We do not have the materials or the knowledge, but we can build something else." What they built was not pretty. It looked like a metal box with engines attached, but it could carry 50 soldiers and it could move through space. When it reached the Empire fleet, the soldiers inside did not try to destroy the alien ships. They tried to get inside them. "Sir, the humans have somehow breached the hull of the Victorious. They are inside the ship." Admiral Thane could not believe what he was hearing. "How many of them?" "Unknown, sir. They appear to be using the ship's own ventilation system to move around. They know exactly where they are going." The humans did know where they were going. Dr. Hana had spent the last 3 days studying everything about Empire ship design. She had figured out how they were built, how they were powered, and how they could be taken apart. She had shared this information with every surviving human on Earth. The soldiers inside the Victorious were not trying to capture the ship. They were trying to understand it. Every corridor they explored taught them something new. Every control panel they examined gave them new knowledge. When the Empire crew finally found them, the humans did not fight back. They smiled and activated small devices they had built from Empire components. The devices released a cloud of microscopic machines into the ship's air system. The machines were based on Empire technology, but they had been modified with human creativity. Within minutes, every Empire soldier on the ship was unconscious. "Sir," the medical officer reported, "the crew of the Victorious appears to be in some kind of coma. They are alive, but they cannot wake up." "What did the humans do to them?" "Unknown, sir, but whatever it is, it only affects our species. The humans are walking around the ship freely." More human ships reached the Empire fleet. Some exploded against the alien hulls like bombs. Others attached themselves like parasites and began cutting their way inside. Still others released clouds of strange substances that made Empire crews sick or unconscious. Pilot Nari Ko flew a ship made from a school bus, rocket engines, and Empire shield generators. It should have fallen apart the moment it left Earth's atmosphere. Instead, it punched through the shields of an Empire cruiser and landed in the ship's main hangar. Nari stepped out of her impossible ship and looked around at the beautiful alien technology. "Thank you for the new ship," she said to the unconscious Empire crew. Admiral Thane realized that his fleet was not fighting an invasion. It was being infected. The humans were not trying to destroy his ships. They were trying to take them apart and learn from them. Every human who died taught the living humans something new. Every ship they lost showed them how to build better ships. Every weapon that killed them was studied and improved. "Sir, perhaps we should consider retreat," his second-in-command suggested. "Retreat? From primitives?" "Sir, with respect, these do not appear to be normal primitives." Admiral Thane thought about Elder Voss and his warnings. Ancient warriors. Creatures too dangerous to destroy. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them I want to negotiate." Commander Day's reply came within minutes. "Hello, Admiral Thane. Are you ready to leave our system now?" "I am willing to discuss terms." "There are no terms to discuss. You attacked our world. You killed our people. Now you want to talk?" "Admiral." Thane looked at his tactical display. Half his fleet was damaged or captured. The other half was fighting ships that should not exist, built by people who should be dead. "What do you want from us?" Commander Day's smile was cold. We want you to learn the same lesson you tried to teach us. We want you to understand what happens when someone attacks humanity. And what lesson is that? That we remember everything, that we learn from everything, that we never ever forgive. The transmission ended. Admiral Thane looked out at the stars and wondered if Elder Voss was watching. Wondered if the old keeper was sad or satisfied. The battle for Earth was far from over. But Admiral Thane was beginning to understand that he had not started a war. He had awakened something much worse. Elder Voss stood in the deepest archive of the Keeper home world. The walls were covered with symbols and pictures that told the history of the galaxy. Some of the pictures were so old that the stone had begun to crumble, but these pictures showed the truth. Admiral Thane's hologram flickered in the ancient chamber. The Admiral looked tired and angry. His perfect uniform was wrinkled. His confident smile was gone. Elder Voss, I need to know everything about the humans, everything. Now you want to listen? My fleet is falling apart. These humans are not fighting like primitives. They are fighting like they have been planning this war for 1,000 years. Elder Voss walked to a wall covered in very old pictures. The pictures showed beings that looked almost like humans, but taller and stronger. They were standing over the bodies of their enemies. They were building ships from the wreckage of other ships. They were smiling. These are the ancients, Elder Voss said. The first great warriors of the galaxy. They appeared from nowhere 12,000 years ago. No one knew where they came from, they just started conquering. Admiral Thane looked at the pictures. The faces in the stone looked familiar. They look like humans. Because they are humans. Or rather, humans are them. Their children. Their legacy. Elder Voss touched another picture. It showed the ancient warriors fighting against a great fleet. The fleet was losing. They did not just fight wars, Admiral. They became war. Every battle made them smarter. Every defeat taught them new ways to win. What happened to them? How were they stopped? They were not stopped. They were contained. Elder Voss walked to the center of the chamber. Here the pictures told a different story. They showed the ancient warriors being led onto great ships. But they were not prisoners. They were smiling, they looked happy. The old Galactic Council offered them a deal. A whole world to themselves, a perfect world where they could live in peace. No more wars, no more fighting. Just peace. And they accepted? Some of them did. The ones who were tired of fighting. The ones who wanted to try something different. They went to the blue world willingly. Admiral Thane stared at the pictures. But why did the Council really send them there? Elder Voss was quiet for a long moment. Because they hoped isolation would change them. They hoped that without enemies to fight, the humans would become peaceful. They hoped that time would make them soft. But it did not work. No, it did not work. The humans did become peaceful for a while. They built cities instead of warships. They studied art instead of weapons. They seemed to change. Elder Voss pointed to another section of the wall. These pictures showed humans living quietly on their blue world. Farming, building, learning. But they were still human. War was still in their blood. When they had no one else to fight, they fought each other. They divided into groups and battled over land, over ideas, over anything they could think of. They never stopped fighting. They could not stop fighting. It is what they are. Admiral Thane thought about the human pilots who had flown suicide missions with smiles on their faces, about the soldiers who had turned his own ships against him, about Dr. Hana, who had learned alien technology in 3 days. The bombardment, he said quietly. When I attacked their world, that was not the first time they had faced extinction. No, Elder Voss said sadly. They have nearly destroyed themselves many times. Weapons that could burn the sky. Plagues that could kill millions. Wars that covered their entire world. Each time they came close to ending everything. But they survived. They always survive. And each time they survive, they become harder to kill. Meanwhile, above Earth, the battle was changing. Commander. Day stood in the command center he had built inside a captured Empire ship. Around him, Human technicians were working with alien computers as if they had been using them their whole lives. "Report," Commander Day said. Engineer Wan looked up from a control panel that was half human technology and half Empire design. "The new ships are ready, Commander. 50 of them." 50 ships in 1 week. How is that possible? "We are not building them from scratch," Wan explained. "We are taking apart their ships and putting them back together. But we are making them better." "Better how?" Wan smiled. "Their ships are built to be safe. Our ships are built to win." The new human ships looked nothing like Empire vessels. They were smaller, faster, and covered with weapons that had never existed before. They were built by people who understood that war was not about following rules. War was about surviving. Captain Bom Lee walked into the command center. Her body was still covered with bandages from her first battle, but her eyes were bright with excitement. "Commander, we have been monitoring Empire communications. They are calling for reinforcements." "How many ships?" 1,000. Maybe more." "Commander." Day nodded. "Good. We will need more ships to study." Dr. Hana appeared on a communication screen. She was transmitting from the ruins of Seoul, where she had built a laboratory inside a destroyed building. "Commander, I have news about the Empire species. I have been studying their biology." "What have you learned, Doctor?" "They are weaker than they appear. Their advanced technology has made them soft. They have forgotten how to fight without machines to help them." "Explain." "Their bodies cannot handle the stress of real combat. Their minds break when they are truly afraid. They have lived in comfort for so long that they have forgotten what it means to struggle." Commander Day smiled. "And humans remember." "Humans never forgot." Admiral Su Min appeared on another screen. She was broadcasting from a human ship near the edge of the solar system. "Commander, we have located 3 Empire colony worlds. They are lightly defended." "How lightly?" "A few hundred ships each, mostly civilians. They do not expect an attack." Commander Day thought for a moment. The Empire had attacked Earth without warning. They had killed billions of humans without giving them a chance to surrender. "Admiral Su, you are authorized to begin liberation operations." "Liberation, Commander?" "Yes. We are going to free those colony worlds from Empire rule." Within hours, human ships were leaving the solar system. They were not the crude vessels that had first fought the Empire fleet. These were ships built with human determination and alien technology. They were fast, deadly, and completely unpredictable. The first Empire colony to be attacked was a mining world called Prosperity. The human ships appeared without warning and began broadcasting a message in perfect Empire language. "People of Prosperity," Diplomat Kyung said from the lead ship. "We are humans from Earth. Your Empire attacked our world without cause. We are here to offer you a choice." The Empire governor of Prosperity laughed when he heard the message. "Humans? The primitives from the Outer Rim? How did they even get here?" "Join us," Kyung continued, "and we will protect you from your Empire masters. Resist us, and you will learn why the Empire was afraid to attack us for so long." "Afraid? The Empire is not afraid of primitives." That was when the human ships began their demonstration. They did not attack the colony directly. Instead, they attacked the Empire fleet that was supposed to protect it. But they did not fight like the Empire expected. The human ships moved in patterns that made no sense. They attacked from directions that should have been impossible. They used weapons that the Empire had never seen before. Within hours, the entire Empire fleet was either destroyed or captured. The humans had not lost a single ship. "How is this possible?" the governor asked his military advisor. "I do not know, sir. They fight like they can see the future." The truth was simpler than that. The humans fought like they had nothing to lose, because they did not. Earth was already destroyed. Their cities were ruins. Their people were dead or hiding in caves. They had no homes to return to, no families to protect. All they had left was war, and they were very, very good at war. Elder Voss finished showing Admiral Thane the ancient pictures. The last image on the wall showed the blue world Earth, surrounded by symbols of warning. Now you know, Elder Voss said. The humans were never primitive, they were never weak, they were just sleeping, and we woke them up. Yes, you woke them up, and now they will do what they have always done. What is that? Elder Voss looked at Admiral Thane with eyes that had seen the rise and fall of empires. They will win. The great capital world of Nexus Prime had never seen war. For 5,000 years it had been the shining heart of the Galactic Empire. Its cities reached into the clouds. Its people lived in comfort and safety. Now human ships hung in its sky like dark clouds before a storm. Admiral Thane stood in the Imperial Palace looking up at the alien vessels through the great glass dome. The ships were beautiful and terrible. They moved like living things, like predators circling their prey. How many? Emperor Kalar asked. His voice was quiet and tired. 2,000 ships, Your Majesty. Maybe more. They keep arriving. 2,000 ships, built in less than 3 months by a species that could barely leave their own world. Admiral Thane said nothing. What could he say? That humans learned faster than anyone thought possible? That they built ships from the wreckage of their enemies? That they turned every defeat into victory? Have they made any demands? The Emperor asked. Yes, Your Majesty. Complete surrender of all Empire forces, full reparations for the attack on Earth, and the trial of all military commanders involved in the invasion. Emperor Kalar laughed, but there was no humor in it. They want us to surrender to them? Yes, Your Majesty. Never. The Empire does not surrender to primitives. But even as he said it, Emperor Kalar knew they were no longer primitives. The reports from the conquered colony worlds told a different story. The humans did not just defeat Empire forces. They liberated entire species that had been enslaved for centuries. They shared their captured technology freely. They treated their enemies with more mercy than the Empire had ever shown, and everywhere they went, the local populations joined them willingly. Commander Day stood on the bridge of his flagship, the New Soul. The ship was built from the hull of an Empire dreadnought, but it had been completely redesigned by human engineers. It was faster, stronger, and more deadly than anything the Empire had ever built. Sir, Captain Baum reported from her fighter squadron, all orbital defenses have been disabled. Any casualties? None, sir. The Empire forces are surrendering without a fight. Commander Day was not surprised. After 6 months of war, word had spread throughout the galaxy. Fighting humans was not just dangerous, it was pointless. They learned from every battle. They adapted to every strategy. They never gave up. Open a channel to the Imperial Palace, Commander Day ordered. Emperor Kalar's face appeared on the main screen. He was trying to look brave, but Commander Day could see the fear in his eyes. Your Majesty, Commander Day said politely. I am Commander Day Park of the Human Defense Force. We meet at last. You will address me as Emperor Human. Of course, Your Majesty. I wanted to personally accept your surrender. I have not surrendered. No? Then why are your ships running away? Emperor Kalar looked at his military advisor, who nodded sadly. Half the Empire fleet had already fled the system. The other half had powered down their weapons and were broadcasting surrender signals. This is not how wars end, Emperor Kalar said. You are right, Commander Day agreed. Usually wars end when one side can no longer fight, but this war will end differently. How? This war will end when you understand what you did wrong. Dr. Hana appeared on another communication channel. She was broadcasting from the surface of Nexus Prime, where she had landed with a team of scientists. Hello, Emperor Kalar. I am Dr. Hana Kim. I have been studying your people for the past 6 months. Studying us? Yes. Your biology, your psychology, your technology. You are very interesting. The Emperor did not like the way she said interesting. It sounded like the way a scientist might talk about a specimen. What have you learned? That you are not evil, Dr. Hana said. You are just soft. Your technology has made you comfortable. Your comfort has made you weak. Your weakness has made you cruel. We are not weak. We rule 1,000 worlds. You ruled 1,000 worlds because no one strong enough to stop. You had tried. Until now. Engineer Wan appeared on a third channel. He was standing in what used to be the Empire's most advanced weapons factory. Your Majesty, I have been examining your manufacturing capabilities. And? They are impressive, but not efficient. You build things to last forever, we build things to work today. What is your point? One smiled. In the time it takes you to build one ship, we can build 10. In the time it takes you to design a new weapon, we can steal yours and make it better. Impossible. Is it? How do you think we got here so fast, Emperor? Kalar looked around the throne room. His advisors avoided his eyes. His guards looked nervous. Even his own people did not believe the Empire could win. What do you want from us? He asked finally. Commander Day leaned forward. We want you to leave the galaxy. What? Pack up your ships, take your people, find somewhere else to play Empire. The galaxy belongs to its people now, not its conquerors. You cannot be serious. Dead serious, Your Majesty. You attacked our world. You killed our families. You thought we would be easy to defeat. You were supposed to be easy to defeat. You were primitives. Commander Day smiled, but it was not a pleasant smile. Do we look primitive to you now, Your Majesty? Outside the palace, human soldiers were walking through the streets of the capital city. They were not conquering or destroying. They were helping. They were fixing things the Empire had broken. They were freeing slaves the Empire had forgotten about. The people of Nexus Prime watched in amazement as the humans worked. These terrible warriors, these deadly enemies of the Empire, were being kind to everyone except the Empire itself. Admiral, Sue's voice came over the communication system. Commander Day, we have reports from the edge of the galaxy. What kind of reports, Admiral? Something is coming, something big. The deep space monitors are detecting ships, lots of them. Commander, Day looked at Emperor Kalar. Your Majesty, do you have any idea what might be coming from outside the galaxy? The Emperor's face went pale. No. Nothing comes from outside the galaxy. Nothing can survive the void between galaxies. Elder Voss appeared on the communication system. The old keeper looked even more ancient than before. Commander Day, I have been monitoring the situation. I thought you should know. The things approaching from outside the galaxy are not ships. What are they? They are the reason my people built the warnings around Earth. They are the reason we exiled the humans instead of destroying them. I do not understand. Elder Voss looked directly at Commander Day. The Ancient Ones are returning. The enemies that your ancestors fought 12,000 years ago. The enemies that made your people into warriors in the first place. The throne room went silent. How long before they arrive? Commander Day asked. 6 months? Maybe less. Commander Day looked at Emperor Kalar. The Emperor looked terrified. Your Majesty, it seems we have a bigger problem than our little war. What do you mean? I mean the galaxy needs defenders. Real defenders. The kind who do not give up when things get difficult. Commander Day walked to the great window and looked up at his ships. Then he looked down at the city below, where humans and aliens were working together to repair the damage of centuries. Elder Voss, can these Ancient Ones be defeated? I do not know. My people tried once and failed, but they had never met humans before. Commander Day turned back to Emperor Kalar. Your Majesty, I am going to make you an offer. What kind of offer? Help us defend the galaxy, and we will forget about your surrender. Your people can keep their worlds. They can keep their lives. All you have to do is fight beside us when the real enemy arrives. Emperor Kalar stared at the human commander. 6 months ago, this man had been a primitive from a backward world. Now he was offering to save the Empire. And if I refuse? Commander Day shrugged. Then you can try to defend your worlds alone. But I do not think that will work out well for you. The Emperor looked around at his advisors. They all nodded. Imaya, choice was obvious. I accept your offer, Commander. Good. Admiral Sue, begin preparations. We have 6 months to get ready for the real war. Sir, what should we call this new alliance? Commander Day thought for a moment. Call it the Galactic Defense Force, humans and aliens fighting together. And the Ancient Ones? Commander Day smiled, and this time it was a real smile. Not cruel or cold, but excited. The Ancient Ones made one mistake 12,000 years ago. They let some of us escape. This time, we will not make the same mistake. Outside, the stars were beautiful and cold. Somewhere beyond them, ancient enemies were coming home. But for the first time in galactic history, they would find someone waiting for them. Someone who remembered how to fight. Someone who had been practicing.